welcome back to another video. I am just sitting down to lunch, so I thought I would say hello, catch you up, do a little chatting. So let's see, it's Tuesday morning, and since I last checked in with you in my last vlog that was about getting settled in this apartment, it's been a couple weeks. We're going on week 5 in this apartment, I think, and it's definitely coming together. You've probably noticed there's a lot of changes since my last vlog, and it doesn't feel like a day-to-day, but I have to admit that it is slowly coming together. Life is pretty good, I'm gonna be honest. I am enjoying post-grad life. When I was still in school, I was kind of worried that I was overhyping what post-grad life would be. I was really counting on it in a lot of ways, and I was like, what if it doesn't live up to my expectations? But I have to be honest, it has. I really feel like thriving. This is my season of life, and life has been good. I've been super busy, and I thought I would take you along with me. We could spend the week together. I have lots of work to do, but also some fun things planned. As for today though, particularly today, I have so much work to do. I will probably just be sitting here working until dinner time, and then Austin and I have to run a few errands, and then I'll probably come back and keep working. It's just gonna be a really busy day. So that is what's on the docket for me, and I will check back in with you soon. Also, this is what I made for lunch. I have been trying to get more protein in my diet, so we bought these pre-made chicken packs at Costco, and I chopped them up and warmed them up in the microwave, and then I made this massaged kale base. It's pretty simple, just lemon juice, olive oil, kale, you know, and I think it's going to be delicious. I'm so excited. It looks so good. It is 4 hours later, and I just got the video uploaded, thank goodness. I am so happy I got it up. I felt bad that it was late. And now I'm just gonna see if I can get a little more work done before I have to get up and start reheating dinner. We're just doing leftovers because our landlord scheduled a showing for 6 p.m. So we have to be out of here right in the middle of dinner time. So we're having an early dinner tonight. And also it has started like raining here. It's very gloomy, which I didn't know was in the forecast today, so that's fun. But yeah, that's my little evening update for you. Hello. I just finished eating breakfast, and I was reading with breakfast, which is what I normally do, and I thought to myself I might as well do a little reading update because I feel like I haven't given you a reading update in ages. And honestly, the main reason is back when I was still in school, I honestly had barely any time to read. I think I read like, I don't know, 4 books in between my sophomore and senior years of college. I just had no time in the day. By the time it got to the end of the day when I would normally read, I was so tired that if I tried to read, I would just fall asleep. So anyways, I've been reading at a very slow pace the last couple of years, but now that I am post-graduation, I have suddenly been reading a lot more, and it has honestly been so enjoyable. I kind of, as silly as it sounds, forgot how much I loved reading, and it's such a wonderful thing to be reminded of, and how books are just such good friends. I am currently reading East of Eden by John Steinbeck. If you've been around for a super long time, you know that I've actually already read East of Eden. This is a reread for me. Something that I was planning to do upon graduating was reread 2 books that were particularly impactful to me right before I started college, which were Artful by Ali Smith and East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And I did already read Artful, and I have that in my little pile right here to chat with you about after I finish talking about East of Eden. But East of Eden has been on my top 3, you know, little favorite books ever since I read it. I read it for the first time the summer right before I started college, and it's one of those books that I swear I could study for the rest of my life and still discover new things. I really think it's a masterpiece, not to, you know, overhype it. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. It follows multiple generations of this family in Salinas, California. It actually follows 2 families, the Hamiltons and the Trasks. The Hamiltons are this larger Irish family that settle in the California Valley, and we kind of follow them, and the narration is coming from one of the grandchildren of the Hamilton family. And then there's also the Trask family, which is 2 brothers, one of whom migrates from the East Coast in Connecticut to the Salinas Valley, and basically the Hamilton and the Trask storylines overlap. The way I describe it to a lot of people is a retelling of the Bible in some ways. Definitely is not like just a word for word retelling the Bible. It's really hard to describe, but it is a really beautiful book. I have yet to read anything by Steinbeck that I didn't find just so compelling and wonderfully done. So I highly recommend East of Eden if you haven't read it, and that is what I'm reading right now. I'm about halfway through. It's a big book. It's 600 pages, so definitely takes a while to get through. And then I wanted to chat about some of the other books that I have read this year. I think I've only read 4. I wanted to start with Artful by Ali Smith, which was the other of the 2 that I was planning to read post-grad. This book is a collection of lectures written by Ali Smith, and it deals with grief and mourning the loss of a loved one in addition to the artful form, so writing, painting, anything that is art. And then she like meshes these 2 topics, grief and mourning, and also art, and it's genuinely one of the most beautiful collections of writing I've ever read in my life. And for context, I do not cry at books, or at least prior to this year, I had never cried at a book. This book, I was about 2/3 of the way through it. I was sitting here one day, like we had already moved into this apartment, eating lunch, and I burst into tears. Like I was full on like racking sobs. It was crazy, and that's just how powerful this writing is. And I myself have a big kind of fear of grief, fear of losing people close to me. I think that's probably a very common fear, but it's something that I really fixate on and think about a lot. And so this book I've always found really hits home for me because it addresses these things that I super deeply fear and think about on a daily basis. And I think that sobbing that happened about 2/3 of the way through this book was me kind of having like a realization and a moment about this really deep-seated fear of mine. And I'm like actually starting to tear up thinking about it, but it's such a beautifully done collection of writing. Next is Okay Days by Jenny Mustard. This was actually what I read in between Artful and East of Eden because I wanted something a bit more modern in between those more dense scholarly pieces. I am actually friends with Jenny Mustard on Instagram, and she sent me this. I thought this book was so beautifully done and so unexpected. I feel like I've never read anything like it. It just felt so comforting, especially as someone who's, in my 20s, feeling kind of lost. I still have, a lot of the major life milestones ahead of me. I really appreciated this book because it showed how 2 20-year-olds are navigating that same phase of life. And I thought it was just really unabashedly straightforward. I mean, she just deals with some pretty hard topics straight on, head on, and I really appreciated that. She didn't dance around the bush. I highly, highly recommend, especially if you're looking for maybe kind of an untraditional romance that isn't too romancy. I sometimes find romance novels a bit too overdone. Like they're almost too lovey-dovey, and don't get me wrong, like I love a good romance novel, but I really like this one because it is a love story. It feels very realistic and down to earth while still conveying this really beautiful love. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I read this back in February, March, and it took me a while. Virginia Woolf, I love her to death, but she is so dense. I loved this book. In terms of Virginia Woolf, I had only ever read To the Lighthouse before this, and I've actually read To the Lighthouse 3 times because I took 3 different English classes that assigned it as a book. I did not mind because I loved To the Lighthouse. To the Lighthouse is one of those books that I also will be revisiting multiple times throughout my life because I think it is one of the most beautiful endeavors on explaining what nostalgia is. I think To the Lighthouse is at its core about the human condition that is nostalgia. And like mourning and loss, nostalgia is something I really struggle with and deal with on the day-to-day. I think it just takes up way too much of my headspace, and I often find myself thinking, Faith, you can't keep living the past, you need to live in the present. And nostalgia is just this thing that kind of haunts me in a beautiful way, but I would still call it haunting. I love To the Lighthouse for that reason, because like Artful and Grief, To the Lighthouse really helps me explore my relationship with nostalgia. So I was really excited to pick up Mrs. Dalloway because I have loved Woolf's writing in To the Lighthouse so much. And this book caught me so by surprise. It covers just one day in post-World War II London, and it follows Mrs. Dalloway and a few other adjacent characters. Like Virginia Woolf is one of those authors that I swear every single page there's a line or a quote or something that just makes me stop and stare at the page. Every single page. Like, I mean, almost every book I read, there's a line or a quote a couple times throughout the book that makes me stop and think. But with Virginia Woolf, it's every single page. I mean, she is just spitting out wisdom after wisdom after wisdom, and this book is no exception. It's crazy. And that's, I think, part of why it took me so long to read, is it was just a lot to digest in a good way. And I will say, I know I said earlier I don't normally cry at books, and that Artful was the exception. Well, the second exception of the year is this book, I kid you not, I was on the bus back from campus, I was on public transport, and there's a scene about halfway through this novel that I honestly wasn't expecting. I kind of saw it coming like maybe a few pages in advance. Wrecked me. I mean, it was so sad. And so I don't know, maybe I'm a book crier now, maybe something has changed in me, I don't know. But this book is so beautifully done. If you've never read Virginia Woolf, please read Virginia Woolf. I actually have another one of her books on my shelf right now, and I'll be getting to that as soon as possible. So anyways, that's my little reading wrap up, like basically for the year. I think I haven't read much else, but I have been churning through books ever since graduating, because I read Artful OK Days and Half of East Eden in the past month. I definitely should be having more reading updates for you now that I am post-grad, which I'm super happy about. But yeah, I'm just currently reading East of Eden, and it's honestly like revisiting an old friend. Every time I pick it up, it feels like a hug. There's nothing better than revisiting a book that you're just really attached to. So anyways, it is about 10 a.m. I went for a run this morning, I had some breakfast, and now I'm gonna get to work. I have a lot to do today. I'm gonna start with a couple hours of work on my computer, and then this afternoon, I have to head to a flower shop because I need to get some flowers for something that I'm shooting for Instagram this afternoon. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little book chat. It feels nice to finally be getting back to my bookish roots, and I'm gonna get to work. Hello. I am in the car. I'm not naked, even though these straps make it look like I am. I am heading to the garden center. I was looking up the best places to get flowers in the Minneapolis area, and apparently there's this place called Bachman's, which is kind of like famous for the area, and they have fresh flowers in addition to being kind of a garden center, so they have plants and pots and all that. And so I think I'm gonna go there and do the, you know, whole Minneapolis experience thing. I'm super excited. I'm gonna film some clips while I'm there so you guys can see it too, but that's the plan. I could also use a stop at the grocery store if I have time, but I do need to be back at 4:30 for a meeting with my manager, so we're gonna see how quickly I can get all this done. Thursday morning. I have just been sitting here on the sofa working since about 6 a.m. It's 9:30 now, and I am going to go get out of my pajamas. I've been sitting here in my pajamas on the sofa. I have been getting into the bad habit of working in my pajamas all day and working from the sofa and just basically like staying wherever I first sit at 6 a.m. when I start working. And while I think it's okay for maybe a couple hours of that because I start work so early, I feel like by the mid-morning, it's best for me to actually put on real clothes and work at like an actual working surface instead of the sofa. I found that if I just like stay in my pajamas all day, then it kind of puts me in a weird mood by the time I get to the afternoon, because even if I have been productive, it feels like I haven't because I'm in my pajamas on the sofa. So I've really been trying to make an effort to get dressed, put on makeup, and actually work at a surface. So that's what I'm going to go do. I have so much work to do today. It's going to be a busy day. Also, I wanted to show you, I filmed a flower arrangement video for Instagram yesterday, and I cannot believe how beautiful the flower arrangement turned out. I'm going to show you. Like, look at how gorgeous this is. I used this crystal basket that I thrifted last week, and the whole point of the reel I was filming is to show how to use a flower frog, which are those little spiky things. I don't know if you can see it in there. And I just can't believe how beautifully it turned out. I kind of just threw this outfit together this morning, but it's so cute. I really like it. This blouse is from And Other Stories, and I just recently got it, so it should still be in stock. So you can find that in my like to know it if you're interested. These pants are from Gap. This headband is from Target. It's literally 4 years old. I've had it forever. I still wear it all the time. And then my little slides are from Rothy's. But yeah, I really like the outfit. I don't know why, it's kind of giving me like Scandi vibes. I don't know. And the reason I chose a headband today is because my bangs are greasy and I wanted them out of my face. Good morning. It is Friday morning and I am so tired. Austin was up late last night playing video games, and usually when he's up, I have a hard time falling asleep. So I just decided to stay up and read, which was really nice. I'm really enjoying my book and I got a lot of reading done. But that meant we were up till like 11 and we wake up at 5:30 because Austin leaves for work at 6. So I did not get enough sleep last night. I'm so tired. I've been just lounging here on the sofa. I did work for about 2 hours, but for the past hour or so, I've just been on Pinterest trying to gather some ideas for the apartment. As for today, I just have a lot of work to do. I'm going to be shooting some more content, but other than that, it's Friday and I will probably be having a bit of a more chill evening this evening, hopefully, and that's the plan. Hello. It is about 2 o'clock and I have just been working all morning, and I think I'm actually about to go head out on a walk. As you have probably seen in all these clips, I've been wearing my AirPods, and that's actually because I've been listening to an audiobook all morning while I work. I try not to listen to audiobooks when I'm working because I find that it can be a little distracting. I usually try and save them for working on DIY projects or going on walks, etc. But I will fully admit that the one I'm in has me hooked and I cannot stop listening to it, so I've been doing my best to juggle that and work today. Let me show you what I'm listening to. So I'm listening to Funny Story by Emily Henry. I have never read Emily Henry before. I have heard great things about her romance novels, and I'm kind of in a self-imposed book buying ban right now, so I haven't really wanted to go out and buy any of her books, so this was like the perfect chance for me to try her out, and I'm just obsessed so far. She's definitely living up to the hype. I also wanted to say that I recently shifted how I've been listening to audiobooks. A few months ago, I joined Audible, and it has definitely way improved my audiobook life. This video is not sponsored by Audible, but just to be completely honest, I am working with them over on Instagram in July and August, but I have been using them for months now and I am just fully obsessed. And I just wanted to quickly highlight that right now during the month of July, they're having a promo where if you're a Prime member, you get 3 months free of Audible Premium Plus, which is the subscription plan I have. And that's like a $60 value, which is kind of insane. So if you've been thinking about trying out Audible, you can try it for 3 months for free. I'll leave the link here in the description that you're welcome to go through if you want to try out Audible. We can be listening twinsies. You can listen to Funny Story with me by Emily Henry. But yeah, it's been really fun and I have definitely been so hooked on audiobooks the past few months. I just can't get enough of them. Like, especially here in the apartment, we've had so many projects going on, like painting, wallpapering, so much stuff that's pretty tedious and time consuming. Audiobooks are just the perfect thing. So if you have any recommendations for audiobooks, please leave them below. And if you want to join me on Audible, I will leave that link in the description. But anyways, I am going to head out for my walk now, and I think I will probably end the vlog after this walk. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for spending the week with me. It was a really good week. I have to be honest, I'm really enjoying post-grad life. Life is good, and I'm just really thrilled to be sharing it with you guys. It feels very full circle. You all have been with me for a very long time, and it's just great to be sharing this season of life with you. So thank you for being here, and I will see you very soon. Bye, friends.